I thought I was a disappointment. I thought I was ugly, that beauty was about having the perfect figure, blemish-free skin, hair that was perfect, whether that meant curly or straight, it was always different than what I had. One of the core messages that my parents gave me was that in order to be acceptable, fit in, I needed to look a certain way. I needed to be a certain size. The less I weighed, the more value I had. My father worked in the fashion industry. He would be gone for 3 weeks at a time. My mother would ignore me. I don't have memories of playing with her. She didn't do my hair. I didn't have dance classes or anything like that. It was too much for her if I needed anything, or if things weren't going well, or if my heart was broken, or I needed help with a project. I would have loved to have had more engagement with her in my life. I just wanted to fit, be wanted. I really felt like I was worthless. And because I felt that I was worthless, I treated myself like I was worthless. When I was a senior in college, I had really hit rock bottom. But I thought, I will clean up my act. I'm gonna stop smoking, stop doing drugs. I'm not gonna drink. That was my big plan. And I tried to quit cold turkey, all of them. And I didn't make it a day. And I did not want to go on living like that. I didn't. One night, I had read Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who are weary, and I will give you rest." And I literally fell on my knees and said, "I am weary. Can you help me?" And he did. After I prayed, I realized it'd been 2 weeks since I had done any drugs or had any alcohol, and that was a miracle. But I didn't know how to walk this faith out. When I got married, I really was still focused on the externals and looking good, saying the right things. I hadn't dealt with my childhood, and I didn't even know how to. So that's when I began to really turn to food. And within 3 years, I put on 100 pounds. I would see other women, and they seemed to be doing so well with their lives, and I wasn't. I felt like I was a failure as a woman. I was embarrassed and ashamed of my inability to change my life. The pain of it was overwhelming. Things began to really change for me when I began learning about being the beloved of God. I didn't know that I'm God's beloved, but when I began to learn that, look at the scriptures differently, it changed everything. I began to learn that I'm wanted and seen and enjoyed now, in this moment. Not when I get my act together, not when I stop losing my temper, not when I lose 50 pounds, nothing. It's not conditional on anything I do. He loves who I am. I was angry about my childhood. When I began to walk with God into remembering, it made me walk through memories that I would rather forget. And my first reaction to that was to get really mad at my mom. I would have loved to have her say, "You're doing well. I'm proud of you." When I was about 40 years old, another woman said to me, "The way your mother makes you feel is the way you make her feel." My mom thinks I'm disappointed in her, that I don't like her. And in that moment of clarity, I actually saw that it was true. I couldn't wait to get in front of her and ask her forgiveness. And I was able to say to my mom, "I know I make you feel this way, and I'm sorry, and it is not true, and I love you." And she did forgive me. And from that, I was able to forgive her as well. What it led to was an evening spent looking through photo albums and my mom pointing to pictures of me and saying, "You were so precious. Look, you did this," and saying words to me that I hadn't heard before. Shortly after that, my mom was diagnosed with cancer and had merely 4 months to live. But I could love her and she could love me, and I wouldn't trade those months for anything. So much of my life has been spent trying to be someone else, someone more acceptable, when the truth is God made me on purpose, and that's who I'm supposed to be. I'll tell you the most beautiful person I know, and that's Jesus. We are made in his image. So beauty is him. God came for me when I was a mess, when I was a disaster, and he's brought me to a place where I'm not bound by shame or self-hatred, but where I know I'm loved, I'm his. He's brought me from death to life.